What's up, guys, and welcome back to the GameShow Global Esport Cup. We are in the last series of the day, CIS Rejects, going up against Walrus Punch. CIS Rejects, I believe, have a 2-0 score so far. I don't really know what happened to Walrus Punch's first game, but they won at least once since they just cleaned house up against Esport. So this one should be very interesting. I'm Mikelorus, going to be joined by Llamadownunder for this secondary set. Long day. You ready to do this?
Yeah, I'm really excited. As I said before, I've seen CIS Rejects play really exciting stuff. Iceberg is kind of their new pub style mid, is my understanding. He overextends sometimes, but he's very, very good mid, dominating. And I've seen him play Lina a number of times and just wipe people off of the map, right? So I'm pretty excited. But the Quap coming out again. I'm pretty sure this is ZXC's Quap again. How do you feel about the fourth game in a row that we get to see Quap picked? I don't know how your earlier games were, Quap-wise.
Well, I mean, you have one game where ZXC goes off, second game goes off again. Do you know how they say that third time's the charm? Maybe this is going to be like the opposite, where they watch it the third time, but I don't know. Queen of Pain seems like she's been having a pretty good record, and she's so far been going towards the side lanes. I don't know if CIS Rejects actually know about that, but yeah, ZXC has been kind of avoiding the mid lane. He's kind of just playing the side lane role for the team, but still, for CIS Rejects, they got the Lina, they got the Winter Wyvern, so as far as brute force damage, CIS Rejects have that through the Lina, and answers to the Queen of Pain and Clockwork, at least somewhat for the Wyvern.
Yeah, I'm, again, really surprised that the early Clockwork pickup, it worked for them last time. I don't know how much it'll get counted, or anything, but really liking it. And the PL ban out from Walrus Punch, I don't know if that's just they worry about it after the last set, or maybe respecting it more up against CSI Rejects, because it'd been, sorry, CIS, I sometimes say CSI, it's good. Yeah, don't know what exactly was the thinking there, but maybe just not wanting to deal with it, knowing that Queen of Pain and everyone will have a better time not up against that. But of course, we still have Gyro in the pool.
Yeah, and
again,
both sides can work with Gyro pretty darn well. It is this time Walrus Punch to have the option of picking it up first, so I'm pretty sure that's what CIS Rejects are considering right now. If they do grab a Gyro, though, that will shove the Queen of Pain over towards the mid-roll, which is, fine. It's usually where we see her, but it's also where we do not see ZXC handling that Queen of Pain. He can go mid lane. He has gone for mid lane in several of his past teams, but it's always been safe lane Queen of Pain in the past couple of games, so it'll juggle things up just a little bit. But yeah, aside from that, I mean, they already have their offlane hero. They already have quite a bit of mobility between the Clockwork and that Queen of Pain. Initiation range pretty darn large, so CIS Rejects gonna have to prepare for that silencer ban, in fact.
I like the silencer ban just because I think that CIS Rejects is getting ready to pick, they ban out the Doxia on Walrus Punch, realizing that CIS Rejects could easily pick up that guy and have a really good team fight, and silencer, of course, being the counter to that. But CIS Rejects can now pick up more team fight stuff. I'm not quite sure what, but I feel like that silencer ban kind of indicative of we're gonna go team fight and we're gonna go hard. I also wonder, Gyro still, as we said, it actually has made it through fourth round bans. What else is a high priority at this point? Maybe the Dazzle?
Gyro, Dazzle, probably the big two. I mean, there are other good heroes, but
Anti-Mage is also
fine right now, but
well, I think he's actually quite good because of Quap and Lina on either side, so maybe both sides really wanting that AM.
Yeah, but if you grab the Anti-Mage, you run into the same problems with Gyrocopter, where it's like they have to go to the safe lane, and it seems like they might just angle for the Shadow Fiend again. I mean, it worked twice in a row. Yeah. Again, third time might just be the breaking point, but who knows? It's a Disruptor first of all. No real need for Disruptor just yet, and they also do ban out the Darkseer, so I feel like this is kind of an overreaction here from the Walrus Punch side, but they have a good amount of control, they have a good amount of team fight right now, and their lanes look pretty darn safe, so they have some flexibility down the line. CIS Rejects, what's going to be the name of the game for them? Offlane selection looking kind of narrow at this stage.
And I feel like CIS Rejects have a lot of experience with the AM as well, but that Disruptor pick, nice against the AM, of course, brings a good amount of lockdown with the Static Storm there. Not something you can just manta out of. So it's going to be interesting, but they may also just want another support, right? The Dazzle's never bad to get super early. You're a little bit light on lockdown, but Lina plus Wyvern should generally, that Arctic Burn means you don't miss your Light Strike arrays. So maybe just they're good enough, deciding that's a good enough combo there. So
They
yeah.
can also maybe go for Naga Siren, look to get a little bit of setup, disengage away from a hook shot, disengage away from a static storm, and it's something that they did play earlier today. Or they could go for a
Oh,
Visage.
is this
CIS
maybe?
Rejects, they are the favorites, I think, looking at all the teams, so they can get away with this a little bit more. But Screen gonna grab his Night Stalker,
Could it be
Shadow Fiend
Drow
last pick, and
lineup?
we're good to go.
Could it be the Drow lineup though? Right? You got three
Yeah.
ranged heroes. You
Nah, I
pick
don't know.
it.
You're up against Night Stalker and Clockwork and Queen of Pain. Like that's a really hard
Good
sell.
point. Yeah, I always wonder when I see a Visage and then two other ranged heroes. But yeah, you're completely right. We have the same draft. I think we've seen this somewhere. And what's our last thing? The Shadow Fiend, of course.
Ten
So
seconds remaining.
and it really worked out last game. They had it was a little bit. I really like the whole the CM in the jungle got a lot of levels. I don't feel like they stacked as much. Maybe the Night Stalker and CM went back and stacked, but a Slok, so definitely not the Drow.
Dire team.
He can purge off a few things with that Dog Pact and run around. He's good against the Clockwork in lane as well. They'll get a couple kills on him, but not sure how well he's gonna do. Disruptor has a lot of AoE damage. Quap has a lot of AoE damage.
10 seconds remaining.
Not in love with it.
Yeah, I mean, it seems just okay. Like, the Slark Visage is definitely a dangerous combo. Slark's burst damage, he can, fill up that Soul Assumption bar super quickly, and then you just get the kill straight after. But the downside is that you're going up against a Disruptor, who is very frequently picked up as a direct counter to Slark. You have a Night Stalker who has a super long silence, and, maybe if this game does extend to late stages, if Night Stalker gets a decent amount of farm, Aghanim Scepter really great up against Slark. Deny him his ultimate, at least his passive stage of his ultimate. CIS Rejects have not really the most dangerous trial in the world. The Winter Wyvern kind of the odd one out there, but still I think they do have an okay draft for this position. I just feel like Walrus Punch have exactly the right heroes to deal with that Slark, and also these heroes that they've selected are right in their comfort zone.
Yeah. So the Centaur ban out.
Sure.
I mean, okay, I can see
Offlane,
the
right?
reasoning. Yeah, I can see the reasoning being that they've already banned out like every single other offlaner. I think I would have been more worried. I guess Phoenix doesn't do well against a Disruptor. I don't feel like a Centaur does well against a Disruptor either. And I would rather play against the Centaur, I guess, than the Phoenix Egg. But I can see the same thought process being that Centaur has this ult which gets their heroes much better positioning,
Just
and
go
the Shadow
Brood.
Fiend ban out, so
They
we
can
don't
just
get
go
to do it.
Broodmother and then just
Roll 'em.
the Walrus Punch side has nothing to do with the Broodmother. I guess like Queen of Pain to some extent, but not a really great extent.
Yeah, it's. I don't know. I like the Shadow Fiend ban out. I am worried now about the Broodmother. I do agree with you. It feels like they could get that for free here. Would make a lot of space. What is a
10
Disruptor
seconds remaining.
gonna do? And a Night Stalker gonna do against a
Thunderstrike.
Broodmother? Yeah.
5 seconds.
That
Not
AoE
the most
damage.
terrifying thing in the world.
And like Disruptor, Night Stalker, if they run into a Broodmother or like a Spiderling army, they're just completely screwed. As far as the last pick for Walrus Punch, not going to be that Shadow Fiend. Looking at this from a most teams' perspective, it should be some sort of safe laner. But I still think they're going to want to put ZXC over in that safe lane. Someone like a Wind Ranger seems like a pretty decent pickup here. A Templar Assassin is still available, maybe not as attractive, but these types of heroes that they could kind of split the core role between the Queen of Pain and that last pick to really get on the aggressive train and stay on the aggressive train, try to end the game before CIS Rejects get out of control with this Slark and Lina.
Yeah. It's gonna be interesting, and as I've mentioned, I've already seen Iceberg's Lena a bunch of times. He wins that lane. I haven't seen him lose it to anyone. He was maybe it wasn't VP. It was what's the other big CIS team that's floating
Empire?
around now? Yeah, it might have been Empire or someone. He just beat a whole slew of people. Either way, it's the Templar Assassin. We haven't seen her matchup. Who out of Templar or Quap would you prefer mid against this Lena?
I think it's going to be the Templar Assassin. They probably fared about equally as well, but as you said, Iceberg, he just wins lanes, and in all the games that I casted CIS Rejects recently, he's won the lane. He's sometimes died, but he has recovered because he's just been getting so much
10
CS in between
seconds
those
remaining.
deaths that it doesn't even matter that he dies. So Spirit Breaker is the last pick actually for CIS Rejects. That's the offlane selection that somehow is still in the pool, and we both just didn't see. So sure, I mean, might as well
I
get the
just don't-
Spirit Breaker, get the charges going, and apply a lot more pressure to the potential Templar Assassin mid. Played by TMW again should be where the TA is going.
Yeah, I feel like the Spirit Breaker isn't as utility-wise as something like, you know, the Phoenix or the Earthshaker, but he'll do it. As we mentioned, he'll charge. Things will die beneath his hooves. It'll be interesting to see what actually happens. And he should be able to help out mid, especially if tomorrow is that mid. Lina can always set up those nice, easy light strike arrays off of a charge in. So, yeah, gonna be interested to see. And Slonk is a real pain for a TA as well. I'm a little bit surprised they picked up the TA now that I think about it, right? Because Slonk kind of counters her.
Yeah, it's like not the hardest of counters. Like Templar Assassin can definitely fight back in certain situations to a decent degree, but as far as using refraction defensively, not gonna fly up against a Slark. And stealing stats also a pain in the ass for Templar Assassin. So there is that to worry about. Of course, that interaction is not going to come up all the time. It's mostly just going to be in lane where the problems are going to arise. Visage and Winter Wyvern, not exactly the most explosive gankers, yet they are powerful enough when combined with a hero like Lina to provide a lot of help and a lot of pressure towards whoever's going to go towards that mid lane. In this case, should be the Templar Assassin. So, yeah, CIS Rejects, they have a comparable early game draft to that of Walrus Punch. It is going to come down to the charges, I think, the rotations from the Night Stalker and the glimpses from the Disruptor that really decided this early stage.
Yeah. If they can have that fantastic first night like they did last game, they really snowballed off of that. The really awesome first night. They had a couple of other rotations that were great too. But really the nighttime usage on Night Stalker, if they can do that again, it should work out. And Screen played really well last game. So.
And they're all warmed up on these heroes, right?
Yeah.
Like they've just kept on playing these. I guess Shadow Fiend and Templar Assassin, not exactly the same, but similar enough as far as their role in the team. And CIS Rejects, I think it did win 2-0 versus Gus. Yeah, so I actually haven't seen GUS. It's like, yeah, one of those other teams that slipped through. Maybe that just I haven't seen them, but I know they're players. But either way, CIS Rejects still pretty strong. We did see them roll through.
They're literally the leftovers. Like that's their name is no joke. They're the teams who didn't make it through all the CIS roster shuffles that happened. And there are a lot of good players, like you can see it. There are a lot of good players, you know, the players here, you know, Navi and so on. But there are those leftovers, and so gonna have a really good time. Yeah, and I've seen
Rejects.
The only one who isn't super well known, I believe, is Iceberg. 111 is somebody else.
It's
I'm pretty
Gorich.
sure. Yeah, Gorich, and
Yeah.
Iceberg, as I said, plays the mid really well. On the times I've seen CIS Rejects lose, that it was that Iceberg was repeatedly ganked. I think that was in the CIS Asper game I got to cast, and yeah, just they ganked him over and over, and it ended up working out because he couldn't get that snowball start. But we'll see what happens as we load in teams. Let's see, is there an early smokes? No early smokes, so maybe not. Exciting
as far as
rotations.
ganking the mid lane Lina, Night Stalker is the hero that you want to have for sure. But yeah, Flo gonna make his very early rotation in, probably gonna place the Observer Ward right about there, and then, you know, be happy with that block. He's gonna be playing the Clockwork for the Walrus Punch side. We've got Screen on his classic Night Stalker. Oho Ride is on the Disruptor, rocking a nice beard. TMW on Templar Assassin. ZXC is on the Queen of Pain, and yeah, I think that's actually everyone.
Yeah, and we're gonna be having on the side of CIS Rejects, we've got Always Wanna Fly on that Visage, Iceberg on that mid Lina, Slog being played up by Art. We're gonna have the offlane Spirit Breaker played by Gorich, and finally Wolverine is gonna be on Vance Core, and we'll see what happens. There's some early movements, but I don't think anybody's gonna get caught. Hopefully people can get to their lanes on time this game.
No TPs, level 1 needed, but
Yeah.
just taking a look at where these heroes are positioned, we do have Boots first up on the Night Stalker, Screen indicating that he wants to play at least a little bit aggressively towards that mid lane. Bottom lane, it's just going to be a Clockwork versus 3 lane, which is pretty much what we'd expect. Pounce it kind of has a love-hate relationship with Clockwork. Sometimes you're going to be able to jump out of the cogs, sometimes you jump into the cogs and kill the Clockwork, but with Wyvern and what seems like Visage coming down to this bottom lane, it's going to be a tough lane for this Clock, and it's going to have 2 ranged heroes as well, so poking him out of experience range is a viable thing that we're going to maybe see on this bottom lane.
Yeah, I am a little bit worried, as you said. I feel like a Slog has a lot of ways to kill a Clockwork that maybe other heroes don't. Plus, add a Wyvern into that, you're gonna get that pounce off pretty reliably. And of course, the Slug needs a few levels before he actually has the kill potential, but Wyvern normally can keep the Clockwork zoned really well. And add a Visage into that mix, but Wyvern, maybe
Boots first.
Vonskor. Yeah, he's gonna probably hit TA a little bit, just try to bone off some of those refractions, maybe see if they can do anything. Or maybe just make sure his mid gets a great start. We've seen that play a number of times. And
Boots
he
first on
Disruptor.
Wyvern is a little bit awkward. I mean, this hero inherently doesn't do a ton, not super explosive, but they're going to try to go for Templar Assassin. Actually, has gone for Psyblades level 1. LSA is going to land. This may just be a first blood because the entire Arctic Burn landed. TMW has to get up to the high ground and try to salve up. He's going to do just that. Will it be canceled? That in and of itself is valued. Oh, don't turn around. Keep running. LSA going to kill him off.
Yeah,
you
I'm
run
not sure
straight.
what the turn
You run straight
was.
up and you live.
Yeah, I think maybe hoping to juke, maybe thinking they wouldn't follow him, but they did. Very dead TA, very dead on that first blood.
And it's
So-
round 2 time. LSA, couple right clicks. Screen has arrived. Gonna try to go for Iceberg. He's actually very low, but the Templar Assassin kind of going for Psyblade out of necessity. I don't think Refraction would have helped since Arctic Burn does apply a dot. Another LSA gonna land. Arctic Burn in 5 seconds. Just
think
right
it's
clicks
dead.
this time from long range. The shield goes up, and it will save the Templar Assassin. So a bank score has Arctic Burn. TMW is so weak right now. Iceberg is as well, though. And oh, TMW, why are you going in? Don't go
There's
in.
a
What are you
charge.
doing? He's going to drop to the Wyvern's increased range. Spearbreaker also going to come in. Unfortunately, didn't jump his charge over to the Night Stalker. But this Templar Assassin, like, are we sure this is the same person playing it as the last game? It doesn't seem like it.
I think just getting a little bit outmanned. This happens to, this happens to everyone, where you're maybe not expecting that it'll be dual mid for so long and thinking that you can start being aggressive again. And I mean, they were even willing to rotate 3 mid. They are giving up a lot in their other lanes to make sure that Iceberg gets a fantastic start. And sometimes that's just what you have to do. They're doing it really well. Also helps that Iceberg is hitting Light Strike arrays and so on. And now
Alright.
the Spirit Breaker is going to actually give the bounty over to the Lina. It's really common that you actually take the bounty as the offlaner yourself because you're having an awful time as a Spirit Breaker, but nope. And then Phoenix is just going to guard this haste until someone comes by. Might be able to set up a kill on Clockwork. There's the pounce. It's going to latch. Always Want to Fly has a Soul Assumption, building up charges very slowly. Uses that Gravekeeper's Chill. Actually, it's odds taking a lot of damage, and he might go down, but no, there's the Soul Assumption, and the Splinter Blast going to get that last hit from Vonskor. And yeah, nice play from Visage, and again, just showing that Slog doesn't care if you're Clockwork. Oh goodness,
done yet.
again,
Bash.
they're going to get the bash. Are you kidding me? And the Dragon Slave gets the
bashes.
last hit.
Is under attack.
The second
My
bash was not
goodness.
needed, but still Spirit Breaker charging up from top, gonna run to Screen. We saw this before in the last game. Screen keeps on fighting in this area, but up against a Spirit Breaker, you're tanky as Night Stalker, but you gotta worry about that 17%. 4-0 for CIS Rejects. It seems like Artie is actually scared of dying there
Another-
up against that Clockwork 1v1, but still the Visage and the Winter Wyvern always hanging around. Spirit Breaker always on the roam as well. This is going to be a full-on Iceberg game. Like, he has his bottle, should have his boots, and he does. 1-0-2 already. Doesn't have a ton of CS. In fact, no one really does except for top lane, where ZXC is going 1v0, so that's a pretty easy lane for a Queen of Pain. But everyone else is just getting a whole lot of blood on their hands. Bottom lane, mid lane, handily won by the CIS Reject side.
We've seen this before, though, where, the TA, oh goodness, she's getting her refractions burned off. Never mind. We've seen this before, though, where the Quap just kind of sits top, ignores everyone until she can get enough levels to be relevant. And this has worked out for them. I think it was in that second game where the Shadow Fiend didn't have a good start, right? So we'll see if they can turn it around again. Of course, Disruptor making stacks, and that can help TA get back in very quickly. But at the same time, just feeling like, we'll be hitting our first nighttime soon, so maybe Screen can start showing it off. But another Winter Wyvern, there's the Arctic Burn, just needs a Dragon Slave, doesn't actually have it. Where's the next hit? Nice refractions popping up. Actually, Iceberg Dota might go down, and I don't think that was the right place to use that Cold Embrace. Probably gonna kill off Iceberg Dota, does get the last, Light Strike Array, but not gonna help. And now they're gonna glimpse back Vonskor, and Vonskor's gonna fall. No way out of this. Needs a couple more auto attacks. Oh, actually backtracking for some reason on Screen, but takes it at last with that crippling, with that void. So, yeah, I was a little bit worried they weren't getting that.
That was just an elaborate bait from the Templar Assassin. It looked like the TA was going to fall there, but she ended up having enough for a fraction right as they hit tower range. So there's a little bit over-aggression coming out from CIS Rejects, and they're not getting enough CS on this Lina to make it so that she can die and comfortably bounce back into this lane. Yeah, she's 1-1-2, which is pretty good. You're getting a lot of kills on the TA, but 11 CS, 12 CS for 4 minutes, almost 5 minutes. This is an extraordinarily low CS game. Pretty much across the board, exception of course being ZXC, but yeah, Iceberg is not comfortable enough to make those types of trades since he just doesn't have enough CS. He's going to try to go again on Templar Assassin, but here comes the Disruptor, here comes the Night Stalker, TP coming in, it is the Visage. LSI going to connect onto this Disruptor with the right clicks, he won't have enough. Didn't pop the double damage rune, otherwise would have gotten it. Soul Assumption available, but they'll just leave it to the Spirit Breaker to charge him down. There's a dead Disruptor on the deck. And they also do see this Templar Assassin. They are not going to use Burn just yet. The Lina just not expecting the hero, so many heroes to hang around this mid lane still.
Yeah. They're toning it right back around on them. You know, you're going to run 2 on our Templar, we're going to run 4 on your Lina or whatever. But at the same time, I really like this because Quap has a free lane. She doesn't need help right now, right? A gank might be successful on her if they have enough lockdown, but she could probably recover just fine. And at the same time, Clockwork's getting a little bit of an easier time just being up against the Slogs. Sure, Odds is getting a lot of denies, but at the same time, Clockwork isn't having, you know, the worst time of his life. The other play I liked was letting the Spirit Breaker get the last hit. He needs the levels, so letting him get the solo experience in that mid lane on that kill and Disruptor, a really nice little play. But they're looking like both sides looking for a gank on bottom. They might be able to get the Visage here. Always want to fly spots them though. Breaks that smoke. Knows that there is a Disruptor
There's
waiting
no vision
around.
actually up there, so he's going to walk right into it. Field is not leveled up. They have level 2 Glimpse instead, but Flow's going to get close enough to put up the cogs if needed. They glimpse him right away from the Clockwork actually. They throw a Soul Assumption. Always want to fly, may live yet. RT's in the middle of everything. He's going to go into the Shadow Dance, has to fight his way out of here. He's going to try to go for Flow. No, instead going to go right over the cliff onto another cliff and then TP out. He's spotted. They have a Void. They have the vision. The flare is still giving them a little bit. ZXC has the blink, has the scream, couple more right clicks, and Slark is going to fall. They definitely did not see that gank, and Slark kind of ran to the north. I think if you, again, just run back to your tower, run south with that Shadow Dance, he probably could have lived.
The other, oh goodness, we've got business happening over here. Screen maybe overextending. There are a lot of heroes rotating, but he also has a lot of support. He's thinking about going back in, but his support isn't actually coming. The Grave Chill going to slow him down. I don't know if they have enough damage, and now Quap poking her out. The other thing is Lina tried to gank up Quap up top lane, actually hit the Light Strike array, but she wasn't 6 yet, so nothing came of it, and Quap just blunk away. I was really surprised at the early rotation by Iceberg, especially since the Spirit Breaker wasn't in position in that top lane, so... yeah, and then Quap just TP'd bottom as we saw and made sure to kill off the Slog. Oh goodness, what's happening in middle? Light Strike Array is hitting tomorrow, taking a few auto attacks, but does have those refractions. And in comes Quap, doesn't have mana for the Sonic Wave. There's a glimpse back looking really weird all over the map. I'm pretty sure they'll take down Iceberg. Nice Light Strike Array, but not going to hit anyone. And yeah, then just a nice little missile to make sure everything goes fine and dandy. After the early lead, you can see it, after the early lead coming out of CIS Rejects, they are pulling it back their way on the Walrus Punch.
They're just adapting very well, Walrus Punch, to this mid lane scenario. Templar Assassin now 2-3-2, and Iceberg, he's kind of being left out to dry by the rest of his team. Bank score being there is nice, but you know there's only so much that an Embrace can do when there's so many heroes in the area. The Disruptor and Night Stalker have almost exclusively made mid lane their home, and that's going to give Night Stalker level 4, 8 minutes in after the first night rotation. Disruptor pretty much at the same exact spot. It's exactly what you want, and it's pretty much exactly what we saw in the last game from Walrus Punch, where they got off in the first nighttime phase, and this one was, you know, just as proactive in the mid lane especially. Slark got a lot of free space, Spirit Breaker got a lot of free space. Both of those heroes do have their ultimates, but yeah, it's kind of fine because they're giving this Templar Assassin room to recover. Now the Queen of Pain is looking to get mixed up in all of this as well. Plus they have a Clockwork with Hookshot. Doesn't have maxed out Battery Assault, but yeah, you know what? He is able to make that initiation, that first hit stun if they need to. Plus they have a 1, 2, 3 stack of Ancients to clear.
Yeah, they also really shut down the Lina. Lina was top of the net worth shots. Now she's 5th, and this is the power of making sure she got ganked. They ganked her like 3 times in a row, and just really effective use of that nighttime. They had another smoke coming out. They're being pinged. There's a lot of pings. Oh, these pings are because there are stacks. There's a beautiful hook shot in onto Spirit Breaker, but he can charge away maybe. He has to wait. He actually charges onto Flow. Really surprised there. The Soul Assumption also used on the Disruptor, and now they put him in a little no physical zone, but the magic goes down. They do manage to pick off Clockwork in the backlines now. Here comes TA though, and Spirit Breaker and Spirit Breaker's down. That's the only kill for them. Now we're seeing Always Wanna Fly is gonna fall. Slog trying to get some lost hits. TA maybe can get this, but she's gonna go down as well. She's trying to buy some time, but there's no meld. Oh, she just gets it off in time, doesn't do enough. And now Quap actually in a really bad spot. She may be in trouble too. She doesn't have blink timing. Out of nowhere, a full team wipe for CIS Rejects. I just really surprised. Really good rotations by all of them.
I think the most surprising thing is that CIS Rejects were able to get that much damage off without using the Laguna Blade on Lina. She was very quickly surrounded. Templar Assassin arrived a little bit late to the party. If she was there from the get-go, it would have been a lot better. Sonic Wave was also used just on one, over towards mid-screen. Gonna get hit with the slow. LSA, not available. Good silence from screen, but is it actually gonna save his ass? Not against the Laguna Blade, it won't. Iceberg taking a couple shots, but there's no one actually there to punish. RT's down towards bottom lane. Is going to get glimpsed right back. He needs to pounce out. He does have it available. We'll get a little bit of distance away. Hookshot available. We'll connect. And there is another pact here. He is going to be in a lot of trouble, however. Here comes the heal from the Winter Wyvern. Also does have a Shadow Amulet if needed. He's going to go invis. Is there any detection? Yes, there is. RT's got to move. Got to move. He's going to go into the cogs. Moving not in the right direction is that. But still, that's the Slark to die who just grabbed a 4-kill. Yeah, the Shadow Amulet is nice, but it's no Shadow Blade, and now we have a fight between Templar Assassin and Lina. LSA gonna completely whiff. He grabs the regen rune, but runs into a Disruptor and a Clockwork. Iceberg should not be here. TA will take the kill on the Lina by herself for the most part. Yeah, you gotta know when to give up those runes. Regen is not worth it. No rune is worth it, actually.
And this game completely back and forth. CIS Rejects took a small lead, and then it's just taken away immediately. Lina went from being 1-0 and 2 up to 2 and 5. They have just been targeting her, and part of it is also that she keeps being out of position. She's also not doing very well in the levels departments, only level 8. I mean, the Slok is the same level, the TA is a full level ahead of her, and the Quap is about to be as well, so... Yeah, not feeling like this Lina is having a very great game, although she did have a train run on her mid. So, in mid, we have a charge coming out onto Night Stalker, gonna be cancelled. Nothing much happening there.
I think the net worth chart is like this game.
Even. Yeah.
Like back and forth this is back and forth in a graphical representation. Like it's.
We have the birds and a hook shot down bottom, and this is going to be a very dead, always want to fly. But I think Clockwork will fall for it too. No, actually, Slot getting glimpsed all the way backwards. There is a charge coming out. Can Flo do anything? He does have cogs. The charge is cancelled, and now Night Stalker. It is nighttime. It is time for him to do Night Stalker things. Maybe why they backed out. A really nice queen.
He's gonna walk right into a sentry. No, everyone's leaving. Never mind. But yeah, killing off the Visage. It's not a super high profile kill, but they get it for free. And RT's still struggling to get his Shadow Blade up. And this is like with the Slark with the Lina, you want to play a really tempo-based game where you get the Shadow Blade or Blink. Obviously, this game's Shadow Blade, and then you just walk around the map getting kill after kill after kill. The more Slark struggles to get that first item, the worse it's going to be. The slower the snowball is going to form, and the snowball is just going to be a little bit smaller. The Templar Assassin has her first Mythril Hammer. Queen of Pain building her Aghanim Scepter, and it looks like the Dire want to smoke up. First, or secondary nighttime phase, and heroes nearby. Well, there are a lot in the jungle. There's a couple over in mid. There are options galore here. They have to wait 7 seconds to have this Clockwork's hookshot, and as far as vision is concerned, they're walking in blind right now. Sonic Trap can be deployed, but Bankscore is going to be the first one to find this one out. Has an Embrace, has a Curse. He will turn around and Embrace himself, charge forward onto the Templar Assassin, but they're all caught in the Static Storm. That's going to be Winter Wyvern and Spirit Breaker down immediately. Glimpse back onto Arties, goes into the Shadow Dance. Going to try to get over the trees. Nope, just going to try to run back home. Looks like he should make it back, but Spirit Breaker actually going to buy out. Off in the backside, here comes Iceberg and Always Want to Fly, but it's a trap. This Templar Assassin's right there. Always Want to Fly, going to get beaten down by the Night Stalker and TA combination. In the meantime, it's Goretz, who's going to try to fight 1v3. Bad idea, bro. He's going to get blinked upon by ZXC. Sonic Wave still available. He's going to die after having bought back. And it's Walrus Punch to clean house again. Are they powerful enough to take Roshan here? I don't think they are, but still, they're going to clean the rest of the jungle up. They took a whole bunch of kills. That's almost a 3k gold swing.
Another issue with all of these team fights going Walrus Punch's way is, as you mentioned, the Slog. He wants to be going around picking off heroes alone. He can farm waves and he can farm the jungle, but he also enjoys really farming kills. It's where the hero shines. But the fact that they're getting so much done with their supports, like, first of all, Night Stalker's naturally tanky being a strength hero. Disrupt is gonna get items at this rate. He landed a beautiful Static Storm. He was involved in a bunch of kills. Like, you just farm up. And then it's a much harder for the, like, Slog to try and kill you, you know? Maybe you have I don't know, you have an Own or you have a Medallion, which just gives you the extra bit of life that you needed. So it's gonna be interesting to see.
Medallion is up on Visage, so he has that item up. Solar Crest maybe in the build-up path eventually. Plus, the Lina does have her Yule Scepter. CIS Rejects are definitely behind in this game now. It's looking like a 2,000 disadvantage for them. Hookshot down towards bottom lane, gonna catch Always Wanna Fly. He has the birds overhead, but the Static Storm is going to do so much damage to this Visage. He just simply cannot run out of here. Here comes the Arctic Burn, but also here comes the Night Stalker. Vangscore has backup from Iceberg, but with only 2 heroes here, pretty sure Walrus Punch are gonna have no problem whatsoever at diving this. And it looks like they will fall back. Bird's messing up Disruptor pretty badly. Plus, Slark now does have his Shadow Blade, so we can come down here pretty quickly. But still, it's a walk in, get the free Visage kill, walk out play. And it's still without the Templar Assassin, still without the Queen of Pain, who are just happily farming in the meantime.
Yeah, definitely. And as you mentioned, it seemed like it was going to be maybe something they could turn around, but too many for the side of CIS rejects, but too many rotations in mid. We got a charge coming deep. Slark wants this kill as well, going on screen. He's a strength hero, but not strengthy enough to stand up to everything these 2 heroes put out on him. Nether Strike and that Dark Pact being used, and now Quap maybe needs to be a bit careful. The Visage birds are here. Last team fight they didn't actually stun anything, but I'm excited to see. It's something where if they can get off those good stuns on those Visage, using those Visage familiars, you can win a team fight really well. So
they also just do a million damage when you have the medallion. Like the damage output of these birds, it's very easy to underestimate. So it is something that can bring CIS rejects back in, as is the Shadow Blade on the Slark, which so far I don't believe has been spotted. It may have. He ran by this Observer Ward and the Dire were paying attention, but still this Slark is ready to get the snowball rolling. 5-2-1. He already has a pretty decent score, but you know, as powerful as Slark is, I don't think he's powerful enough because the rest of the heroes on the CIS reject side really struggling. Artis is gonna have to get a ton of action if he actually wants to redeem the entire team. Shadow Blade down towards bottom lane. He has 2 potential targets here, but they're kind of well hidden.
Yeah. And Quap is halfway to her Aghanims, actually over halfway, so that's another thing they have to worry about. And Iceberg is trying to see if he can find anyone to maybe... Oh goodness, Altia!
Bounces right out of it. Here comes a charge. It's actually going to connect onto the Disruptor with Artis circling around again. They get a lucky bash. Cog's going to put the Slark right next to that Disruptor. Sonic Wave will fly through, kill off Goretz in the end, and Artis, he's stuck now. He has to try to TP out, but Screen is here with the Void. With the Void? What?
I'm not quite sure why he didn't use it there. Oh yeah, he was invis. Okay. So they couldn't do anything. Yeah, and on mid, they're going to push this tower. I think Always Wanna Fly probably going to prioritize that Solar Crest just because he is the Visage. They could trade towers here, but it looks like Walrus Punch actually want to rotate back and stop the push. They have that oh, they're going for Roshan. I really like this play. With just Meld, oh, she has the Deso as well. I was gonna say even with just Meld, TA can generally do it, especially with the help of a Clockwork, but she's got a Deso, so she can most certainly do it. And it's gonna be a really quick Roche. The Visage birds are kind of trying to take a look. Slark is coming over, but Roche is gonna fall before Slark can get in. And now let's see if they have a team fight. Winter Wyvern coming, has that Winter's Curse, uses it up on screen. This is probably a very dead screen. Here comes Lina, just Laguna Blading him for good work. But also the Clockwork picked off by Slark, but of course they do have the Aegis on Tomorrow. Tomorrow needs to not play too far up. The Quap doesn't have the Sonic Wave right now, and doesn't have anything to back up on Tomorrow. Tomorrow realizing that she is overextended on that TA, and there is no Static Storm because it was used last fight. I don't know what they can do here. They do put up a kinetic field. She can meld to keep herself safe, but they will have vision and more than enough AoE. She has to make a run for it, and at the same time Disruptor being picked up in the backlines. What a devastating fight for this side of Walrus Punch. The Quap, she's gonna blink away, gonna take that Soul Assumption damage. Tomorrow is still in this spot. Gonna have to be very careful. Actually just going to walk just and then meld again.
Iceberg. Get him. Oh, there's a meld hit. Bang score. Gonna live. And then Yule Scepter gonna drop the Templar Assassin. She has her shield. No, that's meld again. Guys, come on. You could charge through if you land up an angle, or you could just go ahead and go kill Screen. Is going to arrive. Iceberg is going to get pressed upon by Templar Assassin. Goes into the Roche Pit. Should be fine. Flow looking for the final kill. Battery Assault not quite fast enough. Somehow this Templar Assassin is still freaking alive. Tell me she's not going to live. Pounce, here comes the Slark. He has Pact. He should be fine, but no, ZXC is also here. They finally kill off the Templar Assassin. ZXC going to make his arrival. Has a blink out, and he will do just that. Static Storm deployed. It will prevent them from going for anything else, but Lina actually does go down. That Templar Assassin being an absolute nuisance. Now RT's glimpsed right back. He has a Shadow Blade, has some good regen going. Always Want to Fly, trying to de-ward. Bad time, because here comes Flow. Puts up the cogs, traps the Visage, and gets the kill. That Templar Assassin survival actually gave Walrus Punch a decent fight at the end of it.
Yeah, that team fight went on for ages. I mean, we're back up, I think, to our 0 net worth swing. But that should not have gone that way. It felt like CIS rejects really did fantastically, and then suddenly they waited around for the Templar. Either they should have just said, hey, we burnt the Aegis, this is fine, or they should have had Lina pop her one to get the mana to use some AoE spells.
I'm pretty sure she had mana, she just wasn't casting
No,
it.
at
and-
one point she didn't. Oh, there's the Yules, but they're going to glimpse her back. Going to be hard to do any follow-up on that Light Strike array when you're glimpsed back, and should give ZXC long enough time. At one point, Lina could have just killed the TA with a Dragon Slave. TA was melded, and Lina just sat there with no mana, and she had 8 1 charges. So yeah, that team fight, a big mess all over the place.
You could have also used Charge of Dark. No, screen down to the bottom lane. Gonna get jumped by RT's. Birds flying overhead. Will stomp screen down, and RT's actually gonna miss a couple times, but it's not gonna matter. He'll get the kill anyway. Sonic Wave fly through, but with no other additional help. I mean, RT's just gonna Shadow Dance out of here. Pounces up ZXC unintentionally. He's gonna get a lot of regen. Gonna try to juke to the north. Gets hit with the hook shot though. Here comes ZXC. Linking forward. Spirit Breaker might come in just in time. No, not in time. And now he's gonna try to go for ZXC. Birds overhead. ZXC taking a beating right now. Curse is there. ZXC will die. And Flo also will get bashed. Double Familiar still overhead. Flo is in a little bit of trouble right now. At the same time, they're going to get set up onto Tomorrow. He's going to lift it up. Refraction Shield, though, is going to hold. This time, there's sentries galore here for the Radiant side. They're going to get the slow on the Templar Assassin. Laguna Blade will cut right through everything, and one more hit is all they need, but they can't get it. Are you kidding me? Is the Templar Assassin really going to survive this? That's just so dirty. And she's going to turn around and try to go for Always Wanna Fly. Birds are finally coming in again, but from the back, it's Screen. Going to lift it up into the air by Iceberg. Has the Crippling Fear still applied on him, so can't set up an easy stun. Slowed down by the Sonic Trap and Screen. Looks like he'll just walk on out of here. Tomorrow going to reinitiate. He does have some backup coming in from the south. It's the Disruptor, but he's going to get obliterated by Goretz. I don't know how the Templar Assassin keeps doing it, but no matter what happens with the Templar Assassin, it's still a 1 for 4 or something like that, as Slark is the only one to die for CIS rejects.
It was another really bad engagement from the side of Walrus Punch. I think the Templar, it was another, I mean, they got the Slog, but then it was one of those things where they needed to disengage, and instead all of your team followed in. They're going to get this mid tower easily for the side of CIS rejects. The Templar also, I was really surprised she went in to fight there. She has to have known there were a bunch of sentries down there. She just fought there and had trouble with all of their sentries. Going back down to fight there, right, where you know they have a lot of vision and you can't be sneaky, seems like a big mistake.
ZXC gets it with a charge. There's no mana for another strike though, and Goretz has backup, but it's coming in way too slowly. He miscalculated. He must have just miscalculated. Artis is in the area, as is Iceberg. They're going to throw the LSA and only connect onto Flo, and now Artis has to leave right now. He's going to Shadow Blade out. Hookshot going to catch onto Iceberg, who is now completely screwed. He's going to maybe get a kill if he gets a good combo, but no, not against the Refraction. Courier also in the area is going to try to fly away. Blink hit is all they need. Nope, not a good read. Observer Ward going to spot him. Looks like the Donkey is free and clear. But 22-22, and that was just a way too aggressive dive from CIS rejects.
This game has no chill, right? This game is 2 kills a minute. It's been back and forth, really evenly matched between the teams. Wyvern actually hiding up here. I don't know what Vonsko's TPing at. I was thinking maybe going for the walk in from behind and Winter's Curse them all play. But most of your people are dead. You'd have to wait 17 seconds to get some Lina support. And that's always really rough. Either way, they're going to get this top tower. It's a fine exchange. It's going to help them farm out a little bit. Wyvern trying to do some AoE damage, and the charge cancelled. So, Quap does... She must have it on the courier coming to her right now, the Aghanims. I was about to say, where is that thing? No? Still no Aghanims on Quap? What is going on?
I don't know. People have
okay,
been dying
no,
a
there
lot.
it is. There it is. Somebody
BKB
stole her
also
courier.
on Slark. We have a big smoke up here from the Walrus Punch side. There's no one really in the area, however. There are pretty big items coming up on both sides. That's a Solar Crest on the Clockwork. Visage is going for his Aghanims, not going to for a very long time. Same thing for the Lina, but I feel like the items, the situation right now is still slightly better for Walrus Punch, given the state of the game. Like Aghanim Scepter, Desolator, Blink Dagger on TA and Queen of Pain. That's just so much better than anything that CIS rejects have. It's still super, super close though. I mean, it's 22-22, 23 minutes in. Gold's lead 0. Experience lead barely in favor of the Dire. Radiant do grab a tier 1 bottom lane, which is nice and everything, but it's definitely not enough to swing the game.
Yeah, and the Clockwork having this Solar Crest again, it's just so powerful against your opponents. You know, Slark wants to be auto-attacking you. You can add some mischance to him. It goes through BKB, the Solar Crest, so gonna be really rough. For the Slark in these engagements, he can turn invisible and maybe avoid some, he can use that Shadow Dance, and then it's hard to apply the Solar Crest, but still, he's hunting TA. I mean, he's hunting anything, but he's gonna be hunting TA. Probably Alt's just gonna farm up, and then he'll probably just pounce back into the river over here. Or not, no. He might run into Clockwork, and if Lina comes too, he can certainly kill the Clockwork.
Sees him.
Yeah, he just saw him. The Disruptor is nearby though, and Lena and Wolverine getting very close. And they decide not to go to it, decide there are too many other heroes, realizing the Quap is right next door. I think Quap next item, that'll be really interesting. We've seen her go a bunch of different things over this series where we've been watching the Quap. I don't know whether the Orchid is right, or just because Slot can poach that off potentially. Or maybe doing what she did last game where she went a really fast sheep.
I mean, point booster into an Octarine or even a Bloodstone in this type of game seems to be the
she's picked
build.
up another,
you know
yeah.
you're fighting all the time, pretty much non-stop, so you
TA
get items
actually
that are
going
conducive
in on
to that.
Spirit Breaker. He
Dire's top tower
almost was
has
two-shot from the meld.
Dire's top tower
Minus 15
has
armor,
fallen.
man. It's
Yeah.
pretty legit, and they're just going to go for the tower. Only minus 7 on that one. Charge coming in. No, it was on a creep, it seems, and they'll hold on to the tower for right now.
Down
The
bottom,
Queen of
Ox
Pain-
has found Screen. Like, he is right on top of him. Screen is gonna go down. There's also TP support, but he can't outrun this, and Lena can just use a slave, yeah. And actually, they hookshot in. I don't know what they were thinking. They hookshot in onto Odds, but they don't have much backup. This team fight all over the place. There is also a nice little charge onto the Clockwork on one side of the team fight, actually taking a lot of damage on Mr. Spirit Breaker, and also TA has a haste and is running around in the backline. This is a mess. Nobody dying on the side of CIS rejects.
It's not that
Odd's
messy,
still-
but it's going to be a
Odd's
little bit
still
more so
hunting.
because Artis is still chasing after Disruptor, finds him. Disruptor has no counterplay to a Slark like that. He's going to drop immediately. Templar Assassin's still free and clear, which is inconvenient for CIS rejects, but ultimately it's just a 2-kill for them. Despite, so many other things going on. They might be in a position where they can go for this tier 2 tower. Oh no, Goretz is a little bit too far away. No one's really truly healthy either, so yeah, this is going to be just a game where every team is just battling for every resource. And honestly, both sides have comparable late games, so far this game just still absolutely dead even. Roshan's going to respawn in a minute 40. That might just dictate who's going to have control of the next, 5-10 minutes of the game.
Yeah, it was really interesting to me how messy and big that team fight was, just because I think that's where someone like a Slork really benefits, right? He can move around very quickly to all over these team fights, and you could see he managed to get 2 kills there, so gonna really help out. TA also, she has the blink, she's got another Mithril Hammer, and you have to assume that's the BKB. But there are a couple things, I mean, BKB is gonna help her against some of the magic damage coming out of Lena. Lena does have the Aghanims, of course. I just don't know how much I love. Oh goodness, we've got business going on. Just a Splinter Burst, casually. And the birds playing way up, hoping to stun someone out. But yeah, I don't know how I feel about this TA BKB. There's a lot of stuff that goes through BKB like Winter's Curse, Laguna Blade. All the physical damage, the nether, from the Visage, Nether Strike. So...
It's hard to point to a single good item or a much better item than BKB, so I think it's fine. CIS Reject can wrap around with RTs. Gonna try to get on top of the Disruptor, however, Static Storm is deployed. BKB's right through that. Goes in with the Shadow Dance, charge coming through, and that'll kill off the Disruptor on impact. Screen also not in a great position. Laguna Blade will kill him off. They lift up the Queen of Pain, drop her into an LSA. That's not gonna let the blink, go through, and that's gonna be a 3-kill here for CIS Rejects. Plus, look at that, right next to a tier 2 tower. Should be able to grab that as well. That was a very aggressive wraparound there from Artis, but with the follow-up from Goretz, works out really well for the Radiant as they take the tower, they take the 3 kills, and then they'll be able to slide right into the Roche Pit straight after.
Yeah, I feel like they should have backed up on the side of Walrus Punch. They thought they were maybe going to kill Slok alone, but the moment you saw the charge in, I think you had to back. Quap, I think, was just trying to get off a nice Sonic Wave from the side, see if she could pick anyone off, but instead gets killed herself. And yeah, it's going to be easy Roshan, easy defense on that top tower. They've got a lot of options for what they want to do now on CIS Rejects. And this
They're not
charge,
gonna
it's
go right into the
continuing.
Roche. They're just gonna
Yeah, it's
charge
going to be...
top.
Oh, he's going to stop. No, he's going to be just shy of the TP. So...
It's always
Yeah,
hilarious to me
Slok-
how Spirit Breaker can just 180 like that after charging, but RT's still on the hunt. Shadow Blade, he wants the Disruptor. Every single time he wants the Disruptor, and he's going to get him again. Shadow Dance has to get him out of it. He's going to get Embraced as well. A lot of healing, but now he can't actually retreat. 2 heroes caught with the slowdown in the trap, and the Wyvern's going to get dropped immediately. RT is going to try to run to the left side as Tomorrow is going to charge up once again. It's going to go right through Flow. Hookshot is not available. They're going to get on top of this TA, blow her up with the Laguna Blade. Now here comes EXC and Screen. They want to go for this Lena, but they just can't do it because Goretz is being so much of a nuisance. Now RT's going to reinitiate as well. Sonic Wave will cut through too, but it's not going to do enough damage to kill off either of them. Blink out from ZXC. RT's still on their tail, but he has absolutely no mana. He has to fall back. After all said and done, it's a 2-for-1 in favor of the Radiant. Again, they just keep on getting great trade after great trade. even with that kind of awkward Shadow Dance plus Cold Embrace play.
Yeah, I feel like not prioritize. I feel like the Slok is a big problem here because they can't deal with him. They're showing that they're having a lot of trouble just taking him down. At the same time, if you don't take out the other people in the fight, like the Lina managed to get the Laguna Blade there off on TA, she just had her fractions on cooldown as she got Light Strike Array. And it's just one of those things where I think they need to choose their targets better or maybe go for the pickoffs themselves. They finally dewarded this super aggressive ward that was living up here. And that's going to be part of helping deal with part of the problem, so Slark can't gank so easily, but I feel like they need even more vision.
And Slark is just so difficult to deal with, even if you do have vision. At this point, he's sitting at 1600 HP, 1700 with Strength Tread, which is pretty substantial, not to mention the Magic Community, not to mention the Shadow Dance, the Winter Wyvern behind him, and the fact that he's going to be going for a Scotty shortly, so he's going to get only
charging
tankier.
Someone. Who is he charging? Oh, he's just maybe charging the Ancient? He stopped. Never mind. Either way, this Roshan pit fight, I don't think it's going to go favorably for Walrus Punch, just because they are a little bit behind now. And by a little bit, I mean almost 10,000 gold lead, and there's a lot of vision. Oh, there's the hook shot onto the Wyvern to begin this team fight, but at the same time, Slok is around Wyvern, just Glimmer keeping away. Sonic Wave only hitting the Wyvern and not even killing him. They need to really consider backing out on the side of Walrus Punch, but in from the side comes Visage. They didn't manage to kill any of the familiars, and they can't take Roshan. I think they have to give it up, or at least wait until another Sonic Wave is up.
I think 30 seconds is too long, however. By that time, Roshan should be dead, especially with a DD rune picked up by this Lina. This Roshan is not going to last for 30 seconds. No Sonic Wave, no hook shot available for this fight. Yeah, I mean, there's still a slim chance that they get away with it with a good Static Storm, but that's asking a lot. Iceberg is in a bad position right now. He lifts up the Night Stalker. Static Storm does absolutely nothing as Spirit Breaker charges right through it. Iceberg gonna go straight for screen. Laguna Blade not being used just yet, but he's still holding it. Templar Assassin gonna try to go for the Lina and will get the kill in the end. With the BKB holding strong, the Templar Assassin, they finally deployed Sonic Wave, doing a lot of damage. Always want to fly, with the Curse finally coming through, slowing down Screen and Flow both. Screen should be dropping to the familiars right now, but ZXC is still kicking. Slark in the meantime running away from the Templar Assassin. The BKBs doing some serious work for the Dire. Bank score also trying to retreat with the blinking Queen of Pain. Even with low mana, the Wyvern should not be able to escape this. She'll try to glimmer out, but that's just not going to happen. Eventually, they'll catch up to her, and she doesn't even have enough mana to leave. Hookshot going to miss, but the Battery Assault won't. It's a 3-for-2 in favor of the Dire. Roshan is...
TA stole the Aegis.
Oh, there it is.
So it's really actually fantastic for them. I don't know how she stole it. I saw that fight. She was attacking it. She was ignoring the heroes in there, attacking Roshan. She manages to snatch it because she didn't get the last hit, and then just goes ham. And the reason I think they won that fight, she pushed the Slok out of the fight. He was running away from TA for the majority of that fight, couldn't come in, couldn't attack anyone, which allowed, you know, their supports to actually live for once in a team fight on the side of Walrus Punch. So once again, this game very back and forth. That almost 7.5k gold lead probably headed back down to around 3k. So...
in this type of game where it's so back and forth and so even, so aggressive on both sides, it's very difficult to actually bring back a gold lead, or gold disadvantage rather, because, you know, both sides are fighting with roughly equal footing. The one period of time where you fall behind and it's like you no longer have equal footing, and your drafts are pretty much intended to do the same thing. You're just gonna butt heads against each other continuously. That's a big gain for the Dire side, and the fact they also still have the Aegis is huge. The BKB is just making things so difficult for CIS Rejects. The fact that Laguna Blade still wasn't used in that fight, I mean, it's CIS Rejects taking that fight not at full strength, but man, that was a great fight for the Dire. They have to make something happen off of this, though. If they sit back and just do nothing, I think that's wasting a lot of potential with this Aegis.
Yeah, definitely. It does feel like they need to take a tower off of this, maybe smoke gank into another tower or bigger team fight. You have to use that Aegis bait it. Maybe you can get the Laguna Blade to come out onto your Aegis carrier, and then you can probably win the team fight. But it still feels like they don't have a great answer to the Slok. He's now working on his Scotty. Queen of Pain has made good progress. She's about 1,300 gold away from the Octarine core. But I don't know if that's enough. Oh goodness, Night Stalker picks up. Always want to fly at the Ancients, and Tia is just going to take the rest of these. Gonna actually kill off these birdies if you're not careful. And Always Want to Fly is getting close. Oh, he did finish up the Solar Crest. I was about to say, because he started building the Aghanims before finishing the Solar Crest, and now he's gone back and finished it, so it's gonna be nice. Co-op getting ever closer to that Octarine. 30 seconds is still a long time in between Sonic Waves.
Yeah, with the frequency of these fights, especially. Blink forward, Tomorrow still has that double damage rune. TA hits like a truck and still has double life. Yeah, Familiars is going to fly out. Clockwork grabs a Lotus Orb in this game. Laguna Blade, Charge, Curse, anything that Visage is throwing. Yeah, the Lotus has some pretty high upside here as long as you apply the Echo Shell in a timely fashion. But 31 to 27, it seems like for right now the items might be benefiting the Dire just a little bit more. Slark holding on to a lot of gold at this stage. It'll really help out once he actually gets that Scotty, but for right now, Templar Assassin is getting much more cost-effective items, the MKB on the way. Same thing with the Queen of Pain, just going to bulk up with that, you would expect it to be an Octarine Core, just because we already saw it again, and there it is. The Dire side have better items at this stage, and it's a small opening that's going to be closing very quickly, but it's an opening that they can still exploit, at least as long as they still have this Aegis.
Yeah, definitely really lucky for them. Is this a smoke plate? Yeah, there is a smoke coming out from CIS Rejects, realizing, as you said, they need to do something. Even though they're going to smoke into an Aegis, I still think it's a decent play. And TA, does she have a TP? She doesn't. She doesn't have anything because she's holding this bloody Aegis, so she can't get in. Alt is going to probably just kill off Disruptor again, maybe even go on the pop, but now TA is in the right position. They have a charge onto Disruptor. TA actually going right through it. There's a beautiful Static Storm coming out. They do manage to pick off the Disruptor though, and now Alt, he's taking quite a bit of damage, but he is invisible, and TA is going to go down. That's the Aegis. Quap already used her Sonic Wave. They're going to pick off Iceberg, but at the same time, their TA is surrounded. She's been dusted up. No refraction. TA falls immediately, so this is 2 for 1, and it looks like Flow is going down as well. They finally popped the Nighttime. Maybe a bit of a mistake to leave it for so long, but it might have been on cooldown. I didn't see that. Ots is going in on Quap. They can see him though with that ward, and they're gonna just run it away. Hopefully, oh, he's gonna catch Screen. Nothing this Clockwork can do, and I believe Screen just falls. There's another Sonic Wave getting very close to killing. Does she actually blinks in and goes for it. I think a rocket would have sufficed. Quap might die for this. And she does have a blink in 2 seconds. She needs to be able to use it. She does blink away. Clockwork doing a lot of damage to Always Wanna Fly, but he does have that Soul Assumption, of course. And actually, I think Flow gonna go down. No, there's the return. Not using the Lotus Orb. And finally, Disruptor has, I believe, respawned. Could have been a buyback. Oh, it's maybe in a lot of trouble here. He has no mana. Hookshot off the Monk, but doesn't matter. And yeah, he just respawned on that Disruptor, level 11, sometimes having benefits. So this team fight actually turns out it's going to work out in favor of
Winter Wyvern.
Walrus Punch. Yeah, he's caught again, and this is just going to be Sonic Wave, casually used, lost auto attacks. Cold Embrace won't save you now. Really in favor of this side of Walrus Punch now. So a really great job by them. They dragged it out long enough that Disruptor respawned, and while the TA died, she did drag a lot of the team away so they could pick up Iceberg really easily.
The real big difference from that fight compared to the last ones was the amount of value that Spirit Breaker got. He had so many charges. I mean, he had 2 charges that were actually casted, but so many charges hitting so many heroes. Like, it was 2 charges for like 5 heroes to connect, and now we're going to set up onto ZXC. And botch the combo just a little bit from Iceberg, not a big deal. Probably can't get the kill anyway, but still. 34 to 31, and after all said and done, CIS Rejects, they once had a 7,500 gold lead, being pared down to 2,500, and it's just getting worse and worse. That's one of those situations where your Slark, his net worth, though it looks very impressive, isn't actually going to be 15k worth of Slark because, well, his items are all tied up in his stash right now. Yeah, it's done for right now, but if he had it for the last fight, that extra bit of intelligence at the very least would have been huge. Like, the mana pool ran dry from the Slark, and if he had just a little bit more mana, maybe he would have actually gotten away from that situation, but it's just the Radiant to chase a little bit too aggressively. After killing off that Night Stalker, like picking him off near the trees, that should have just been it. Chasing into the base, that was them going a step too far. And now towards bottom lane, 1 familiar to drop. Second familiar in trouble, but yeah, it should be the second familiar to die as well. You can't get away from a Night Stalker with the Aghanim's.
And instead, Visage just resummons. Also has the Agates now, so it's going to have 3 of those familiars. A good time. They're charging illusions of Quap. Oh no, maybe they're charging the real stuff, but the illusions of Quap will see some of this action. They're charging the real Night Stalker, but Spirit Breaker's going to get there way too early. Glimpsed back before he even touches his butt. And so now, Lina getting slowed up by these side traps on the side. TA is coming in from behind. This is going to be a very messy team fight. A nice loading Static Storm. TA climbing in finally. Doesn't have anything though. She hasn't used her BKB and she's blown up. Nice Winter's Curse. Iceberg might take a fall, but the Cold Embrace getting him back up as well. Disruptor down, Templar down. They're going to lose their Quap as well. And just a disastrous fight coming out. For Walrus Punch, they have nothing left. They just need to run it off on screen. It's nighttime. He's got additional movement speed, but if they see a charge on him, he is very dead. He's trying to get around these trees. He should be fine. Yeah, I think splitting the team fight like that and another Static Storm that didn't really fall into anything, the kinetic field was really needed there. And even if he did, though, there are BKBs, of course, on these dire heroes.
In that position, it seems like the Queen of Pain Sonic Wave should be like the biggest asset for the Dire side, and Static Storm not too bad either. The problem is that even though it looked like a good Sonic Wave, it only actually hit on 2 heroes. That was the Spirit Breaker and the Slark, and both those heroes very tanky and can get back up to full HP. At least the Slark can very quickly. So the Queen of Pain's ultimate was essentially wasted. The Static Storm, it only works as a zoning tool if the enemies respect it as a zoning tool, and they didn't. They just charged right through. Lina was able to get like a 3-man LSA off. Now Flo's gonna get jumped by Artees. He's gonna get hit with the hook shot, but BKB does go up. Charge coming in from the Spirit Breaker as well. Now 3 familiars overhead. 1, 2, 3 is gonna kill off the Clockwork. And they also get a lift up onto the Disruptor. LSA, Laguna Blade, well, I guess no LSA needed. They just kill off the Disruptor just with the ultimate cast in of itself. And they also get the Nether Strike into the Night Stalker. Heal onto Iceberg. He's gonna get juiced right back up to half HP. Raxes also have been taken. Buyback is available on the Clockwork. Looks like the CIS Reject side might have closing the game with this play. Slark sticking around, that might be a little bit too much, but Rax's an advantage for the CIS Reject side in this type of gameplay is huge. And they're going to jump in towards Templar Assassin. Drops a BKB. Gets hit with the curse though. Bash is there. Spirit Breaker going to fight to the bitter end. Now deciding to retreat. One more hit. Couple more hits actually. Hookshot coming in from Flo. Going to try to go for bang score. And Spirit Breaker right next to Cogs. He's going to try to glimmer out of here. But that's not going to work out. Just one more hit is all they need. Charge. It is going to work. Blink. Scream. No, nothing. Spirit Breaker is free and clear. TP coming in from the Clockwork. He has no hookshot, however. That's actually a Disruptor. He has no glimpse vision. And the Spirit Breaker is going to survive. A couple tower shots, going to do a little bit of damage, but not enough. Rax is taken from CIS Rejects. Now they have a commanding lead in this game.
Yeah, it's definitely something that you can still hold against Rax, especially when you have the Queen of Pain with the 30-second Sonic Wave. But it is going to get harder and harder now for this side of Walrus Punch. They can get this next Roshan pretty easily. Queen of Pain going to help out. I don't know, Slark, he looks like he's headed over there. He does have Invis. I don't think they have detection. They do have the gem back up. No, Night Stalker's not holding the gem. They did rescue the gem, but for some reason he's not holding it. They're gonna get this Roshan, it looks like, but yeah, Disruptor gonna be... Oh, Night Stalker in a lot of trouble. Slark doing a lot of work onto him. He is stunned up there. Nice use of the Lotus Orb. The Aegis does go out on Queen of Pain. The Glimpse doesn't work because he BKBs. Slark actually wanting nothing to do with this, and Spirit Breaker coming way out where maybe he shouldn't be. Quap blinking aggressively forwards, has that Aegis. There's also a hook shot, but they can't see the Glimmer Cape target, so gonna be a big 5-on-5 engagement. And it gets really hard to use that Static Storm effectively with a 9-second BKB on Lina and a probably 5-second at this point on Slark, but that's still more than enough for the Static Storm duration, so...
A big pickup here from the Templar Assassin, an all-in pickup. She has no buyback, instead going to go for the MKB. Smoke up from CIS Rejects, not going to find anyone just yet. I guess you don't expect this if you're the Dire, but yeah, they're not going to get picked off. They grab the cheese on the Templar Assassin. Aegis is grabbed by the Queen of Pain. That is going to give them a fighting shot, but still being Raxed down matters probably a lot more in the grand scheme of things than one simple Aegis and cheese grab by the Dire side, since CIS Rejects at this point are powerful enough to probably overpower through that Aegis, through that cheese, especially if they keep on assassinating Disruptor. Like if he drops without getting a good Static Storm off, and Artees is going to want to do that every single time, then that fight might just be over.
Definitely, it's constant pressure on your bottom lane. You have to take a team fight and know that you might be losing base structures, you might be losing more of your tier 4 towers, and they're going to get this tier 2 for free. I think pretty wise of Walrus Punch not to even bother engaging there. Yeah, you want to fight outside of your base, but at the same time, if you lose that team fight, you lose another Rax, so better to maybe fight with the high ground advantage or wherever you feel special. But there is a charge coming out. It's gonna be cancelled on TA. A little bit surprised. She actually throws up some side traps to be a bit irritating, but nothing more. Quap will be farming up that top lane. The other problem with getting the Aegis when your Rax is down is you feel like you need to do something, but as we mentioned, you've got constant pressure on your bottom lane. So
now mid lane, you walk in, take a tier 2 tower up towards top. The best thing to do is do it again in a different lane. And there's very low chance that they actually decide to defend this. There's a Sonic Wave, you might as well, yeah, there you go, ZXC, but it's going to thin the creep wave this time, and glimpse back onto the Spirit Breaker. He's already embraced, taking a little bit of damage. Gives BKB and Glimmer Cape. Jump in from Flo in the backlines, looking for bang score. He's going to catch him, but it's Tamaru's in the most trouble. Needs to pop the cheese. Does get it out, but Artees is still sticking on this TA. The refraction does block the entirety of that Laguna Blade. Now Artees has got to bail. They're going to try to go for ZXC instead. He does end up losing his Aegis, and so far it's just a 1-for-1 trade. Artees dropping low, will trade his own life for the Templar Assassin. Pretty even trade there, but the rest of the heroes from CIS Rejects cannot fight up against this swarm of heroes from the Dire. Sonic Wave through, we can kill off the Winter Wyvern. Iceberg trying to go for ZXC. Blink available for the Queen of Pain. She does get out of there as the Lina lifts herself up into the air, drops into the cogs, and will fall to Flo. Screen and Flo both will clean house there, and CIS Rejects lose all of their heroes. Bottom lane is still pushing in, but ultimately it's a 5
Yeah.
for 2 exchange if you count the Aegis.
This is fantastic. I mean, it was a fantastic team fight for them. There was a lot of stuff going on, but I think a lot of it, as you said, the whole dragging the Slok away. Again, TA managed to drag him away for most of that team fight. What is he gonna do? Like, he's not attacking, and they don't have to deal with that. They can actually go toe-to-toe with the rest of these heroes. So, another really nice team fight coming out of Walrus Punch. I keep wanting to call them Screen Squad, but they're not. Out of Walrus Punch, and they're going to get a tier 2. They really want to transition this into a Rax. They're probably going to keep trying to push. Actually, backing up, I'm really surprised. Visage Bird's putting pressure on top tower. Oh, I just disconnected. Never mind.
All right, well,
Get right back
I'll
in.
take it
Sorry.
from them
Yeah.
until you get back, but yeah, the Queen of Pain now has the Sheep Stick up and available. Templar Assassin doing a pretty good job at dueling that Slark, who, is going to be working with Moon Shards once he pops up, but yeah, the Slark and Lina, as long as they keep on getting dropped as quickly as they are, then it's not going to matter what farm they have. The Visage actually is starting to become that hidden carry. He's actually almost completing the Assault Cuirass. Just needs a Hyperstone until that one is all done. But, as nice as it is to have a one fight for the Dire, they still have to worry about this bottom lane pressure. The gold advantage, experience advantage isn't actually in favor of the Dire now, but gold's still being held by CIS rejects. And they still have a lot of momentum moving forward in this game. Slark, especially with that Moon Shards, is an absolute terror. He's not going to have to worry about the cheese and Aegis, and that last fight, that was pretty much the only reason why Walrus Punch won. If they don't have those pretty much 2 double lives, then I see CIS Rejects winning that one almost every single time, but now it's nighttime. They have the Aghanim Scepter vision with, of course, that True Sight from the gem, and they're going to see pretty much everyone. Always want to fly, especially up on the high ground. Ahoa Ride is going to look for a glimpse back, but there's a charge actually going towards the Templar Assassin. She blinks out, gonna drag them a little bit further to the south, pops her BKB, another strike is there, Arties and Iceberg all there. They can kill off this Templar Assassin, that'll be huge, and they will do so. Iceberg gonna get glimpse back into a Sonic Wave, into a Sheep Stick as well, but she has Dual Scepter and Shiva's Guard. She's very tanky. Shiva's Guard deployed. Now they're onto this Disruptor, who's gonna glimmer himself out for a couple more seconds of time. CXC not as lucky, needs to blink out right now, but it's too late. He's gonna die as well, and now Screen hit with the charge. RT's gonna follow up shortly. They also get the lift up onto Flow, drop him into an LSA. So many heroes here, plus the birds. Flow is gonna put up a Blade Mail, live for a little while longer, do some damage to Iceberg, but that's about all he can do. There's no escaping this one. He's going to die to a Soul Assumption.
Ooh.
It's a 4-for-1 trade in favor of CIS rejects. They get on top of the Templar Assassin. Blinking away to the south like that was not the right move.
Yeah. Definitely funny ending there. The charge from the Lotus Orb, I thought maybe that was going to help him escape, but no such luck. He was dead. It was his dead body. Yeah, I don't know if they have enough. They have some buybacks, but not on all of those core heroes. You mentioned already, TA went all in on that MKB. She doesn't have buyback. We don't have a lot that can come out to defend against this, so they're going to lose another lane of Rax and probably top as well. Visage really is a carry now, and there's our GG goal. So we're going into a game 2. I would say it was pretty even until, a couple of team fights, so excited to see the next match between these two teams.
Moon Shard on Slark increases his damage output so much more on that hero in particular versus other heroes because of the way Essence Shift works. Yeah, just Templar Assassin not being able to get off her entire kit, got killed off immediately, and then no matter what happens before or after that, without the Templar Assassin there, the Walrus Punch side just can't succeed in that fight. CIS Reject's going to claim it, and it was a grueling game. Hopefully the other one is not as grueling, because I'm kind of getting exhausted, but that's fine because we're almost done. CIS Rejects, 1 game up. Guys, I'm Mikelorus. I'm joined by Llamadownunder. We'll both be right back for the next game. Don't go anywhere.